Hello Knigame fans, part 2 of the big content patches of last month includes just one roguelite, but does include some interesting patches for adventure games and first-person shooters, rounding off an excellent month. One of the best roguelites currently in early access is Curse of the Dead Gods, and this got even bigger with the Armory update. If you were a little concerned about the lack of weapon variety, worry no more. This has a whole tier of unlockable weapons that can appear in future runs, and weapon alters that allow for more choices and upgrades. It adds a meta progression layer where defeated champions will drop jade rings which are used to unlock weapons. It also adds the third element of lightning alongside the existing fire and poison, adding more flash to the combat. The usual balancing changes and quality of life improvements are present, with only 2 more updates on their roadmap, so this is shaping up. The not-so-indie Deep Rock Galactic seems to have absolutely blown up in popularity, perhaps because they have been putting out free content patch after patch, with Roughnecks at Work being the latest. This adds 2 new missions, on-site refining and escort duty, with a new assignment and new cosmetics as well. KnightOut Knightmare on Brawl Street is an ingenious title for spooky season, adding a new enemy in baby drakes, but more importantly, Halloween-themed cosmetics. Don't Starve Together once again makes the list with Forgotten Knowledge, adding both the Lunar Grotto and Ancient Archive biomes. This event unfolded when a chunk of the moon crashed into the ocean to form an island, but also happened to uncover something beneath the earth as well. I'm very impressed with how consistent this team has been with the updates, and it comes with another gorgeously animated trailer. GTFO occupies a similar space as the aforementioned Deep Rock Galactic, only a lot spookier, with an emphasis on stealth and being much more punishing. Rundown 004 Contact adds a new area, more story content, weapons, tools and more. But most interestingly, adds player matchmaking, which is huge, and also adds a layered difficulty level, allowing beginners to more easily get on board and for veteran players to truly have a hardcore challenge. The wonderful adventure game Mutazione from last year impressed with its quirkiness, set in a town that survived an apocalyptic meteor strike, and the 7 Gardens update adds the 7 story mode gardens to the gardening mode, which has become somewhat of a comforting experience for players who return to the game to tend to the plants and to collect elusive seeds. It also adds more seeds and sounds to collect and looks wonderfully relaxing and may be something that you need for some calm. Speaking of relaxing, Morels the Hunt is a first-person game about mushroom hunting and photography as you travel the woods surrounded by wildlife and nature as you go about collecting mushrooms. It celebrated its 1-year anniversary with the anniversary update adding new achievements, making the interior of the cabin an actual location rather than a menu, new items, a trophy room, improvements to the camera, the ability to swim and photograph fish, points for taking photos of bugs and objects, new mushrooms, improved visuals and more fantastic music. So take a relaxing stroll with this if you're unable to get out of a city. Some of you may immediately identify this game from the opening seconds of the trailer, but the Cockpit update for Cloudpunk adds a first-person mode to the game, allowing you to explore this gorgeous cyberpunk metropolis as if you were there, making it more immersive than ever. Oh, and the base game is fantastic in itself as well.
Indakoso Satora Gila Kara Gila
Graveyard Keeper from 2018 continues with its DLC, with Game of Crone being the latest. It adds 6 to 12 hours of content, with the ability to build a refugee camp added, but there are the usual additions like new dishes, gravestones, fences, and more. There is, however, a vampire on the loose, and you can even join up with Comrade Donkey as parts of the revolution, so it's weird and strange but adds more to a great life sim title.
Competitive gameplay for planned battle. Defend the zone, capture the flag, and play team deathmatch.
Multiplayer first-person shooters are a dime a dozen, so it's difficult for an indie studio to get any traction, but Tip of the Spear Task Force Elite does seem to have something to it.
Old school gameplay upgraded to modern standards.
It recently released an update known as Early Access version 3.0 after launching slightly less than a year ago and may be of interest to you.
For a mature audience.
The procedurally generated downhill biking title Descenders impressed with the speed and the tricks that you can do, with the new Lexico update adding new bikes, new bike parks, some changes to the physics and more sick tricks to pull off.
Are you bored of your normal, everyday Grim Reaper office work? Our office now has a new and hip concept of time off from work. Wow.
Death and Taxes is an impressive narrative title where you choose who lived and died and what happened to the world as a result, with the Halloween update adding new characters, a new bar area, over 1,000 new lines of dialogue, and of course new cosmetics, and this is a great game that should not be missed.
Starting this Halloween, new amenities, new desk widgets and stylish accessories, new characters,
Holy non-Euclidean geometry, a speaking squid face. Ha ha.
The open world crafting life sim title There Was a Dream released without much fanfare in September, looking a little like my time at Porsche, with the Celeste's Knightmare update adding a spooky dream to explore. Mentioned this during Indie Gaming this week, but it's worth another mention since Yuppie Psycho Executive Edition added 3 hours of additional content, new areas, new bosses, more spooky revelations, and 3 new endings. The first job survival horror title impressed at launch last year, and if you have not played it, I cannot think of a better time to pick this up. Bit of a strange one since the Colony Sim Founder's Fortune was shaping up in early access, having been covered in videos like this in the past, but it had a major graphics overhaul which may make it more palatable to some.
Hey Robin, you were right. We found a frozen Leviathan. Altera thinks they can use it for something. I'm afraid something terrible is gonna happen. If you hear this, love you.
We end off with another returning entry, Subnautica Below Zero, which is the standalone sequel to the original, which has been chugging along in early access, with Relics of the Past being the latest update. In this, the story is more or less fully complete and fully voiced, with more alien mysteries to uncover with alien caches, more polish and visual flair for the world, and even a new Leviathan that looks at the edge of the world. Similar to some of the other titles above, 1.0 looks like it may be sooner rather than later, and is a cannot miss for survival game fans, taking the #1 spot. To see more of the big picture, check out these awesome videos, and I will see you after the jump.